What's up, guys? The secrets of As a Man Thinketh. So, Adam Mortimer and James Allen. So, if you've watched any of my book reviews thus far, I frequently refer back to As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Now, that book was written, 100 years ago. It's very old, and it's one of my favorite books. Very insightful. It's got tons of really well written and well thought out concepts of just how we kind of navigate our circumstances and contribute to or create our own circumstances. How do we change our circumstances? And it all stems from thought. And he just explains so many great ideas in such good detail. One thing that I frequently recall from his book is basically that some people think that a rich man got rich because he's sneaky and deceitful, and the poor man is poor because he's honest and pure, right? But that could not be further from the truth. Like maybe the rich man is sneaky in things, but he has some sort of quality and strength that helped him achieve his wealth. It's not his sneakiness and his deceptiveness that got that there. And that has its own consequences attached to it. So he will have his reward for being that. And when I say reward, it's probably in the form of a negative consequence. And the poor man is poor because he's not good with money. He doesn't treat money like a millionaire. He doesn't budget well. He doesn't, right? But his honesty and genuinely good demeanor has its reward, and the two are not connected. But he goes through so many things, thought on health, thought on circumstances, all these things. Well, so I thought this one seemed interesting because Adam Mortimer here is kind of adding his 2 cents to the book, and so I thought it'd be fun to kind of get his perspective. So I'll just share a few things that he kind of added. He has a portion of James Allen's book, and then he writes his little blurb. But for example, the beliefs that have the strongest emotions attached to them, whether positive or negative, are on their way into your life. And that's true, and it goes right along with another piece I'm going to share. It says, this is from James Allen's original version. It says, men do not attract what they want, but that which they are. That concept is so true. Just think of your friends. They're your friends because you share certain qualities in common and you enjoy being around them, right? They add something to your life that you're comfortable with, that you can enjoy, that you can laugh about or laugh with, or you have a sense of relatability. Well, that's true in other senses too. So that's true with your money. Your friends are probably about the same with their money as you are with yours. They probably have a similar bank account, a similar income, similar spending habits. Now, if you change, your friends will probably change. And if you change your friends, you'll probably change, right? And so like you attract that which you're familiar with, and the people that share similarities and similar goals and are headed in the same direction as you. So you as you grow and change, the environment around you changes. The things that you're seeking after, come to you. And so it's a really interesting idea that men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. He goes on later to say, not what he wishes and prays for does a man get, but what he justly earns. His wishes and prayers are only gratified and answered when they harmonize with his thoughts and actions. Right? So everyone would raise their hand in a crowd that if you said, who wants to be rich? Everyone raised their hand. Who wants to live within a budget? Well, not so many. Who wants to work 2 jobs? Not so many. Who wants to constantly put themselves out there in a vulnerable way, trying one idea after another. Who wants to fail in front of people in public and try and learn from that and try it again? Like, fewer and fewer people want to actually do that. So it comes down to like, what's your true desire? What are your thoughts and actions truly saying about you? And that's what's going to come true. This one's from Adam. Trying to change the outside world without changing the inside is like trying to pump up a tire by blowing air around it and not into it. You must focus on the root cause of the problem and not justify its effects. You have to look inward before you can ever gain those results externally that you're wanting. So this one is from James Allen. Men imagine that thought can be kept secret, but it cannot. It rapidly crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstance. So much is about habit, habitual living. James Allen again. A particular train of thought persisted in, be it good or bad, cannot fail to produce its results on the character and circumstances. A man cannot directly choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts, and so directly yet surely shape his circumstances. So Adam goes on to talk about, like, if you pick up a stick, you can choose which end you want to pick up, but you can't choose what's on the other end of that stick, right? It kind of goes together, right? So like, this action has this result. This thought has this result. You must choose the correct thoughts and the correct actions in order to get the results and circumstances that you want to live in. This one's from Adam as well. It amazes me how many people have not yet discovered the intimate link between thoughts and health. Science is finally catching up to James Allen over 100 years after the book was written. Through epigenetics, scientists are starting to realize that gene expression can be turned off and on through thoughts. And I've read some good books about epigenetics, as well as watched some really interesting scientific studies on epigenetics. And literally, like, we have generational genetic coding going on, but we can choose which genes are expressed through our thoughts and our actions and our habits. I mean, we always refer back to weight loss, right? Because it's such a popular topic to talk about. But literally, people who are obese can become thin by certain habitual living, and it tells which genes to turn on and off. For example, one study showed epigenetically children of people who were born like during the Depression, the children were skinnier and more prone to depression. And then children who were born to families who lived in a time of prosperity and wealth and ate lots of food and had a more joyous, relaxed, wealthy life, their children were more overweight and typically happier. Now, this is not an excuse to get fat, because just being fat doesn't make you happy. It was a genetic code passed on from a lifestyle. So your lifestyle right now is changing your children's genes. Assuming you might have children. Many of you have already had your children, but your lifestyle is affecting their lifestyle. So in that sense, it's a generational thing. I've heard people talk about generational shame, which, basically is saying that, like, for generations, we've carried this habit, this language, this feeling and idea that X, Y, and Z is bad, right? Or that X, Y, and Z defines so-and-so this way, or our family has this type of characteristic attached to it. And it's like this genetic and generational shame. And those types of things are hard to break. So it's important for every single one of us to work on our habits and shoot for the stars, shoot for the most positive things, whether it's achieving joy on a daily basis, or achieving wealth, or serving others. Like, we need to practice those things that we would like to cultivate in ourselves and in those to come. So epigenetics, it's very interesting. This one's by Adam. Be patient. You cannot tell a flower to grow faster than is natural. Likewise, there are spiritual laws of growth. Be persistent and work hard, and great things will happen. You simply trust the process. That is key to success. So many people, have a great business idea and they're so slow to start, but then they want immediate results. You should think exactly opposite of that. You should be in a hurry to get in the field and try it out and see, what's out there for you, and then be patient about success. It's hard to really become a professional in any industry. It's hard to gain a customer base or a following. It's difficult to find every little way that you can, maybe cut costs and maximize profits and all these things. Like, same is true with habitual living in every sense, right? It's difficult to change your thought patterns. If you grew up in a culture that thought a certain way and was sarcastic in a certain way and frowned upon certain types of living, it's difficult to change those thoughts. But persistence and work over time, you'll change. So anyway, be patient, work hard, find those things that you are truly after, and align your thoughts and actions with them, because with persistent, accurate information and action, they must come true. So anyway, kind of an interesting little book. By default, it got read by me because I love As a Man Thinketh. Adam Mortimer was affiliated with the writers of Prosperity. So anyway, I found this little link of basically inspirational life coaches and things, and I've reached out to some of them, made some connections, but several of them happen to be from Utah and live near me. So anyway, it's kind of been fun to read their material. But I will put a link to this book in the description so you can purchase from Amazon, and that way I'll get a small commission. Head over to the website, bronsonwilks.com, and find other book reviews. Subscribe to the channel to get weekly book reviews through YouTube, and we'll catch you later. Thanks.